it challenges you in a lot of different ways, and that's just being as real as I can be. And I think the easy way out is for people in different positions like myself as a head coach is just to chalk it up and say, man, it just wasn't our year. But that'll never happen with me.
We're presented by Progressive Insurance. Key, time to blow it up?
I'll do it for him. It wasn't your year, dog. Starting with benching Mr. Trubisky when you were 3-0, to me, that was the biggest mistake of all. I don't necessarily know when you say blow it up. I think you gotta look at the quarterback position, get the running backs back in the offseason. You still try to figure out what to do with Allen Robinson and giving him a long-term deal. You bring new offensive minds and coaches in there to try to get things done. Chuck Pagano, to me, is a great candidate sitting on the sideline. That's a great candidate for you. He's already there.
And he's already been an NFL head coach, a successful
one.
NFL head coach. Very interesting. Speaking of head coaches, on the way, why is the head coach of a 5-7 football team this morning laughing last? That's next on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin.
Dialing up what he knows how to dial up. They're not going to be there next year, so they're not benefiting by getting the number 1 overall pick because they're not going to be there coaching them. At least I don't think they're going to be there coaching them. Let's just say that.
Crazier things have happened, as evidenced by the final play there with Derek Carr.
Ain't no way in hell, Zubin, you fit to sit here and tell me there's a slight chance that they could be their coach. No. There's no way.
Bye, Felicia.
There's no way.
I would agree. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. All of our guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. I mean, it's not like Greg Williams' reputation could get any worse on and off the field, so might as well just do it. ESPN NFL front office insider Mike Tannenbaum joins us this morning on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Pennzoil synthetic motor oil is made from natural gas. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof's in the Pennzoil based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE. 5W30. Mike, you were a GM for a couple of different teams, including Gang Green. What do you think's going on in the front office first thing this morning after their latest debacle?
You're feeling heartbreak like everybody else. And look, you have to have one eye to the future, but you also have a responsibility to those players and coaches. And I agree, it's inconceivable how they defended that play yesterday. You have to defend the goal line, and you have Lamar Jackson, an undrafted free agent, trying to defend Henry Ruggs, the most explosive player one-on-one. It's inconceivable. But the other thing you're doing as a GM, you're looking towards the future. You're putting your list together so you're ready to go at the end of the year. And I just agree with Key said. It's really, there's no, at this point, I don't see there's any way that Adam Gase keeps his job at the end of the year.
Wait, Mike, I didn't say he's going to keep his job. I said there's no way.
No,
He agreed with you.
Oh, I thought he said he didn't agree with me. All right. Let me ask you this, though, Mike. Why hasn't the Jets fired him? Why haven't they fired him yet? Why are they holding on to him? Like, let it go.
You know, Key, right. Here would be my only sort of justification if I'm the Jets. 2 weeks ago was the first time this year that you had Sam Darnold with their top 3 receivers, Denzel Mims, Jamison Crowder, Rashad Perryman. And if you brought Adam Gase in to develop Sam Darnold, maybe you want to say, hey, over the last 6 weeks, is there any chance this could get better? So if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, I guess that's the one reason you would have said, hey, let's give Sam Darnold and Adam Gase a chance together, because the last year and a half have been choppy due to injury, illness, whatever. But now we're at a point where I guess you're so close to the end, you might as well hold on to it. I really don't know, but to me, that would be the one explanation is let's give Sam Darnold the best chance possible to develop.
Would you hold on to it, though, Mike, as a general manager, or would you just let it go now?
Yeah, you know, Key, I made that decision a couple years ago. I was in Miami. We had Joe Philbin. We felt we couldn't go any further. We had an intriguing candidate in Dan Campbell, who was our head coach for the last 12 games. He was a finalist. I think Dan Campbell will be a head coach. I think that's a big factor when you make this decision, Key, is there somebody on your staff that you think realistically may have a chance at the job? Look at the job Raheem Morris is doing in Atlanta. Look, they hit a bump in the road yesterday against the Saints, which a lot of people have. But if you think someone like Raheem Morris may be your head coach in the future, that's a big factor in your decision making.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mike, let's say hypothetically you land the Jets job, okay, and you have the decision to make when you come up with this. Do you keep Sam Darnold and then get other assets in the draft, or would you take Trevor Lawrence? How would you handle this situation moving forward?
Jay, well, despite the fact that Sam Darnold went to USC, I'm moving on from him. I think Trevor Lawrence is a once-in-a-generation player. And I know that's contractually obligated to say that here, guys. But in all seriousness, Trevor Lawrence to me is Andrew Luck. He's a once truly in a generation sort of player. He has the athleticism. He has the intangibles. And when you really look at it objectively, Sam Darnold has flashed in fairness, but he hasn't put it together consistently. And when you look at the other team in MetLife, at least Daniel Jones is getting better. There's less turnovers. You could see the progress being made. We just haven't seen that with Sam. I would try to maximize his value, get as many picks as I could, and move forward with a new coach and Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, Mike, I'm done fighting the Sam Darnold battle. Whatever y'all decide to do, y'all decide to do it as Jet fans and front office people. I'm tired of trying to say they should keep him. I've given up. So that's pretty much where I'm at. Let me ask you this: what the Giants are having? You mentioned the Giants; they're having some success. They go out to Seattle and they clip the Seahawks. How is this happening so fast for them right now?
Well, let's stay with our USC theme. Leonard Williams is having a great year. Had another 2 sacks yesterday, 8.5 for the year. They're playing with great speed on team defense in terms of rallying to the ball. They caused another turnover because of it yesterday. On offense, look, Colt McCoy was not great yesterday, but he managed the game, and Wayne Gallman was really productive, had over 150 yards rushing. They're not beating themselves. And give Joe Judge a lot of credit. They go out to Seattle, no Saquon Barkley, no Daniel Jones. They're down 5-0 at halftime, and they beat Russell Wilson in Seattle. That's a great team win. And if you're the Giants, you say, hey, you know what? We're going to get Jones back. We have Barkley for the future. Leonard Williams is a blue-chip player who's now playing up to that top 6 billing when he came out. We have a few pieces in place that we could build around, and Joe Judge deserves a ton of credit.
I agree with Mike. I'm still shocked my Giants won that game. Let's go to another team in the NFC East. What the heck is going on in Philly? Is Carson Wentz done? Is Jalen Hurts, is it now his team?
I was listening to you guys. Absolutely. You got to give Jalen Hurts an opportunity. And there's just 2 statistics that paint an entire picture. Carson Wentz has been sacked 50 times. And what does that tell us? Despite all the injuries they've had on the offensive line, he's holding the ball too long. He's lacks confidence to let the ball go. He's had a number of guys open earlier in his progressions, and he's second to the last in the league in yards per attempt, 6 yards per attempt. So he's checking the ball down. He's not holding the ball and trying to get chunk plays. So for whatever happened, Carson Wentz has lost his confidence. And if I'm a player on the Eagles, this became maybe a 50-50 decision a week to 10 days ago. This is a no-brainer. I don't know how they could go out there and play Carson Wentz right now because he simply doesn't give him the best chance to win.
So, Mike, why would Doug Peterson at the post presser say, well, I'll make my decision on who the starter is after I watch the tape? Like, why does he keep prolonging this? Why won't he just buy in?
Jay Will, you were a great professional athlete, and I think there's a time and a place to make those decisions. And I think you have to sit down with Carson Wentz and say, hey, Carson, we're going to get to the spring of 2021. It's going to be a fresh start. You're going to compete with Jalen Hurts. We're going to do everything we can every single day to get you ready for that day. But right now, Jalen Hurts gives us the best chance to win. And I think out of respect for Carson Wentz and that relationship, that player-coach dynamic, you don't make that proclamation in the media. You sit down Monday afternoon, you let everybody get a good night's sleep, and then you look the player in the eye and you give him the hard truth. But importantly, and Key, you mentioned this earlier, because of his contract, he will be an Eagle next year. So how they manage this is really important.
No, it really truly is. Speaking of things that are important, and another quarterback in another situation in the AFC, obviously the Cleveland Browns went out and got another victory yesterday. How